Africa, a continent brimming with potential, finds itself grappling with a formidable foe: corruption. Like a parasitic vine, it has wrapped itself around the very core of many African nations, stifling growth and hindering progress. From the highest echelons of power to everyday interactions, corruption casts a long shadow, undermining development and eroding trust in institutions. This insidious force manifests in various forms, from grand schemes of embezzlement and illicit financial flows to petty bribery that infects daily life. The consequences are devastating. Basic services crumble, healthcare systems falter, and education systems fail to equip future generations with the tools they need to thrive. The human cost is immeasurable. Millions are trapped in poverty, deprived of essential services and opportunities. The most vulnerable, including women and children, bear the brunt of this injustice. Yet even in the face of such adversity, a spirit of resilience persists. Across the continent, courageous individuals and organizations are rising to challenge the status quo. They are demanding accountability, transparency, and an end to impunity. The fight against corruption is a fight for the soul of Africa, a fight for a future where its people can finally prosper. To understand the depth of corruption in Africa, one must delve into its historical roots. The era of colonialism, while long gone, left an indelible mark on the continent's political and economic landscape. Colonial powers, driven by exploitation, established systems that prioritized resource extraction over the well-being of the colonized. These systems, characterized by patronage and a lack of accountability, created fertile ground for corruption to flourish. Post-independence, many African nations found themselves inheriting these flawed structures. Power struggles and instability further exacerbated the problem. Corrupt practices, once used by colonial masters, became entrenched as a means to maintain control and amass wealth. The legacy of colonialism continues to haunt many African countries, hindering their ability to break free from the cycle of corruption. However, it is crucial to recognize that this is not an exclusively African problem. Corruption is a global scourge, and its roots in Africa are deeply intertwined with historical injustices and external factors. Corruption in Africa is not an abstract concept confined to the corridors of power. It is a lived reality that permeates everyday life, affecting ordinary citizens in countless ways. Imagine a sick child turned away from a hospital because their parents cannot afford a bribe, or a student denied a place in university, their dreams shattered by a corrupt admissions process. These are not isolated incidents but rather commonplace occurrences that illustrate the pervasive nature of corruption. Petty bribery is rampant, a seemingly unavoidable hurdle in accessing even the most basic services. Police officers solicit bribes instead of upholding the law. Government officials demand kickbacks for permits and licenses. The justice system, meant to protect the innocent, becomes another avenue for exploitation. This culture of corruption erodes trust in institutions, breeds cynicism, and creates a climate of fear and impunity. It is a betrayal of the public trust and a violation of fundamental human rights. Corruption is not merely a symptom of weak governance. It is often a deliberate strategy employed by those in power to maintain their grip and silence dissent. Through elaborate schemes of embezzlement and illicit financial flows, corrupt leaders siphon off vast sums of public funds, enriching themselves at the expense of their people. This stolen wealth is then used to consolidate their power, buying off opponents, controlling the media, and rigging elections. The judiciary, meant to be a check on executive power, is often compromised, with judges susceptible to bribes and intimidation. Laws are selectively enforced, targeting those who dare to challenge the status quo while shielding the corrupt elite. This creates a vicious cycle where corruption thrives on impunity. Those in power use their positions to amass wealth, which they then use to entrench their hold on power, perpetuating the cycle of corruption and hindering democratic progress.